10 matches played since you were last here, 4 transfers ongoing, and a double header today. It's an action-packed puck to Prem. No dilly-dallying. Let's get into this. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Parts of Prem. I'm back. We're here taking on second and third place Liverpool and Arsenal. We currently sit top of the Premier League. We were here last year and we bottled it. We need to hold on today. Now, if the intro to today's episode feels a bit hectic, high energy, it's because we've just got so much to cover. Where do we begin? Let's start with transfers. Now, ordinarily, there's not a lot of transfer stuff going on in December. Not the case this year. We've been wheeling, we've been dealing, we've made a signing. And that player is Diogo Perez, signed from Benfica for £32 million. Yeah, it's a lot of money. He's just turned 18. I had him kind of with a note next to his name for his birthday when he turned 18. Professional personality, 18 determination. And I won't need to train someone to play defensive midfielder because we're going to have this guy for the foreseeable future. I hope he's as good as he looks. Can we all agree he looks amazing? Does he look £32 million good? I'll let you decide. He won't be joining us till the end of the season. Decided he'd be better served sticking it out with Benfica. Now, I mentioned 4 transfers, 3 more, all sales. Let's start with the smallest of those. Dani Lopez Gonzalez. This one is confirmed. He is heading off to Schalke, the kind of emergency fullback option. We got a bit of £10 million for him. He didn't want to stick around at the club. We signed him less than a year ago for £5.5 million, and we've just about doubled our money, which when you consider he's played 5 games and got a 6.76 rating, I think is a win. Now, the next 2 sales weren't exactly planned, but when the kind of money that's being offered comes in, you kind of feel like you have to take it. The first player, Ganino. Now, do I really want to sell 2 of my 4 right-backs in January? Probably would have said no, ordinarily, but this bid from Ganino is £26 million from Al Shabab, and for a player who we signed on a free transfer a couple of years ago, for a player who, whilst he's been good, is only really a backup, £26 million is a whole lot of money. And given the fact he's not getting any younger, he's going to be 29 in a couple months' time, decided that we're going to sell him. This transfer hasn't gone through yet, but if it does go through, we'll have some money to play with. And well, speaking of potentially money to play with, Diallo. Wanted to sell him in the summer. There wasn't sufficient interest. We had a bid from Al Shabab, the team that we're selling Ganino to. I actually turned that offer down because Wolfsburg bid a more significant sum of money, £37 million for Harassou Diallo. This man started the season absolutely immensely. Then he picked up back-to-back long-term injuries, missed 6 weeks in about a 2-month period, and since then really hasn't featured in the first team, and I just don't really feel like we depend on him enough for me to keep him around for the kind of money that's being thrown at us. £37 million for Diallo? I mean, we signed him a few years ago now for £6.25 million. I will miss him hitting the woodwork, but it's a lot of money. So whilst Perez might have cost a lot of money at £32 million, we have potential here to earn in the region of £70 million selling free squad players. Obviously, that might give us some money to play with in January. And speaking of January, we are not far away from it. We're actually in mid-December already. And since last episode, we've played a whole lot of football. We're going to go through some of these games quicker than others. There's some results here that might stand out. What probably doesn't stand out is the 3-0 win against Fulham. This was a good result. Cadman, Alanis, Lemos with the goals. We then drew against Blackburn. 2-0 up in this game. We bottled it. I feel like we bottled it against Blackburn a few years ago. In fact, I'm certain we did. Ah, yes. Okay, the memories are flooding back to me now. A few years ago, we were 2-0 up and we conceded 3 goals in the last 5 minutes. Luckily for me, because we're further enough in the future, I can't actually look at the whole match report. To be honest, that would probably be quite triggering. Now, for the game against Blackburn, we did rotate the team, knowing that we had Atleti to play in the Champions League. We went with the 3 at the back system. Did it work? For a little bit. I mean, it worked for the first minute where Lemos scored. Cadman also got on the score sheet. Unfortunately for us, though, we didn't take the chances that came our way, and Atleti was super clinical. You can see here, 3 goals from 4 shots on target. Not a good day at the office for Manny Wilford. Now, to be fair to us, Atleti, who we just lost to in the game I've just covered, are currently top of the Champions League. They've already qualified for the next stage with a couple of games left. You might spot here, we're up in third. We're actually joint with Roma, who of course we've already drawn with, but we had some pretty difficult Champions League games, which we've done very, very well in. You know what? I'm going to break the chronological order of this fixture recap because I just want to talk about this game here. Guernsey 5, Bayern Munich, Uno. See, I can speak multiple languages. This game against Bayern was absolutely immense. We went with the 5 at the back system. It worked really well. Grasser turned provider for Lemos, and that would be the first of 4 goals we scored in the first half. I was chanting for 8 goals at half-time. Unfortunately, as is usually the case in Football Manager, you get a load of goals in the first half, second half, the players just kind of stop trying. But to be fair, they probably earned the right not to try too hard. Some really nice finishing on display here. Coppo with a nice little header from a corner. Like I mentioned, we did get a 4th goal before half-time. Again, Grasser bringing the ball forward, doing well. Chapman worked hard, pulled it back to Cadman. The 2 English forwards started alongside one another in this game. That decision was justified. Was I nervous when Bayern got 1 goal back? Maybe a little bit, but at 4-1, we were very, very comfortable. And in fact, we made it 5-1 very, very late on Cameron Archer at right back, whip it in. Chapman with another goal to add to the collection. And in terms of results that we've got here at Guernsey, this might be one of the best. And if you're sat wondering, well, maybe Bayern just aren't that good. We're far in the future in this save game. No. They've won the Bundesliga all but 1 year in the last 20 years. Adilson Jose is their key man. He's quite good. And they've also got Tell as their captain, who's still around. And at 32 years old, I was quite impressed that we were able to keep this guy quiet. He had a really bad game against us. I was relieved. And to further break the chronology of this fixture recap, here is the other Champions League game we played. 6-0 against Porto. 6! Alanis played amazing. Lemos played amazing. In fact, the whole squad played amazing. A sea of green. We took all the chances that came our way. It was that kind of match, but we were definitely deserved of the win. Okay, now that I'm done getting excited about the Champions League, let's talk about the Premier League games, where you might have noticed we had this difficult run of games, and I went with the 5 at the back system. In fact, we played it for much of the month of November. Win against Tottenham was nice. Win against Man City was extra nice. Away from home, Cadman and Chapman with 2 goals each. On the subject of Tottenham and Man City, worth noting, they're currently in 8th and 9th place. They are 2 teams that are really struggling this season, but the kind of games that in previous years we have struggled with. We did also manage to pick up a heroic win against Chelsea, and in fact, you know what? This is the kind of game where I want to show the highlights. We were 2-0 down after 48 minutes. I don't know if you can tell by my excitement in the commentary for this portion, I had a lot of fun with this run of games. It looked like it was going to be a really tricky run of games, and whilst it wasn't flawless by any means, we got some good results. This game here against Chelsea was a really interesting one because I started with the 3 centre-backs and wing-back formation. When we went 2 goals down, I went to the 4-2-3-1. I went to the more attacking system. I brought Alanis on off the bench, and well, Alanis was very much a hero in this game. He didn't get the first goal, though. Lemos with a weird finish. Alanis, though, his first of 2 goals he scored. Debatably, I say debatably, for me, goal of the season so far. There, I said it. Lemos Alanis spots the keeper off the line, hits into the top corner, and from there, he would step up to take the all-important penalty with 5 minutes left, held his nerve, won this game 3-2. Is there anything better than coming back from 2 goals behind? I don't think there is. And Alanis, you beautiful, beautiful man, we have him to thank. He was superb in this game on off the bench. I'm sorry I didn't start you, Jaime. Now, unfortunately, in the 2 easier games after that tricky run of Premier League games, we weren't perfect. Brentford, we stole Brentford's best players, you might remember. They did not care. We lost 1-0 to them in this game. Archer played poorly. Monteiro against his former club did okay. We did rotate the team in this match. It was a bad day at the office. Annoying to lose. In our most recent league game, though, we did beat Leeds United 5-1 in this game. Lemos picked up a 9-minute hat-trick. Things you love to see. Takes his goal tally for the season to 9. And, well, if we just have a quick look at the Premier League table, I've already mentioned it. We do sit top. We have lost 3. The 2 teams directly behind us haven't yet lost this year. We're playing them both in the next 2 games of today's episode. First game against Liverpool. I mean, they've conceded 8 goals all year. They haven't scored a load. Arsenal have managed to draw 8 out of 15 games. They draw more than they win, but technically they are still unbeaten. So, well done, Arsenal. Anyway, we are going to get into this game against Liverpool. It's first versus second. We're taking on, as I already mentioned, both unbeaten teams. Knowing my luck, before we play Arsenal in a couple of games' time, they will lose their unbeaten run, and that whole kind of flex that I would hope that we can achieve of beating both unbeaten teams won't be possible anymore. But for this game here, good team news. We are pretty much at full strength. The only exceptions, and I say this, they're kind of big exceptions. Jamfi's unavailable at left back. He has picked up an injury, as you can see here, out for a couple of weeks, so not exactly ideal. And the other man who's out, Lemos, suspended. Now, he was actually injured anyway, so maybe it's a blessing that he got injured and suspended at the same time. I'm not entirely sure. It does mean that we are going to have to mix things up in the final third. For this game, we are going with the three at the back system, which has worked really, really well so far. Obviously, Buyak is going to come in at left wing back. Besides that, with the absence of Lemos, had a bit of a dilemma. In a recent run of games, I've been playing Chapman and Cadman alongside one another. Of course, Chapman is left-footed, and as you can see from his recent form, he's been in really good form recently. In fact, 6 goals and 4 assists in his last 10 games. As for Cadman, he is our top goal scorer in the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken. 9 goals in his last 10 games, largely playing as a striker as well. Really has excelled. But for this game here, he is going to slot in as the shadow striker, and Alanis we are going to bring in to play up top, who himself actually has 7 goals in 10 games. We have a lot of good informed goal scorers at the moment, which is a good problem to have. The issue is trying to get them all on the pitch at the same time. But with Lemos absent, we can do it today. I would also like to mention the fact that Danny Archer, during that difficult run of games, got injured again. He got injured against Tottenham for 3 weeks. I don't want to sound the alarm bells just yet. He's missed 7 weeks of the season so far. Now, when he's played, he's been amazing. But obviously, he's on £205,000 a week. We spent £85 million on him. And, well, yeah, he keeps getting injured. Obviously, with us playing the three at the back system, it is seeing Rios, Coppo and Sweeney playing alongside one another. They are all players that I trust, all players that I've been rotating around. Even when we play with only 2 centre-backs, I've been trying to give them all a fair share of minutes. One thing that I had been umming and ahhing about doing recently, but I have decided to commit to, is training Craig Sweeney to play as a defensive midfielder. I don't know why I haven't done it sooner. It's a conversation I've seen rumbling on in the comments for some time. You know, Sweeney could be a really good defensive midfielder, and yeah, to be honest, I wanted to see how he got on at centre-back. He's done fine at centre-back, but having him also be able to slot in at defensive mid feels like it probably isn't going to be a bad thing. Ordinarily, if you've got a really specialised player, you don't want to train them in a load of positions, but since he can already play centre-back and centre-mid, actually training him to play centre defensive mid isn't going to eat up a whole load of his ability. I've talked about this in series before, but essentially, based on a player's position, attributes are weighted differently in terms of how much they eat up of a current ability of a player. Players, you can't see it, but they have like an overall ability in Football Manager. If you're a super specialist player who, say, only plays as a striker, something like tackling isn't that important for a striker, so it eats up less of the current ability. But if you could play striker and centre-back, because the player knows how to play centre-back, tackling is important, so it eats up more ability. It's one of the reasons why when we trained Jaime to play as defensive midfielder, he did decline a little bit as a footballer overall. Sometimes there's a juggling act and a balancing act between, do you want a really versatile player who's a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none, or do you want someone who's the world's best centre-back but can't do anything else? In Sweeney's case, though, where he can play centre-mid, he can play centre-back, it doesn't really make that bigger a difference to training to play centre defensive mid. I hope I explained that okay. I feel like every year I try and explain it and every year it gets worse, but hopefully you could follow along at home. Anyway, this is the team we're going to go with. We've had a long ramble before this game here. Let's get straight into things today. I'm hoping we're going to be at our best, of course. A reminder, Danny Archer did not know how to play right wing back when we signed him. Does he know how to play right wing back now, I hear you ask? Not really, but he's going to play here today. Of course, for this game, we are taking on a Liverpool side that are unbeaten, are currently second in the league. We beat them in the Carabao Cup final last year, but last year in the league, when we came to those crucial games against them, we couldn't quite get over the line. Obviously, this 5 at the back system's been working nicely. We come into this game with some momentum. I'm hoping we're going to have the wind in our sails in this game here, but I have to be wary of their strikers. Zozimo and Endrick, 2 very, very good forwards, particularly Endrick. If you've been playing Football Manager this year, he's probably haunted your save game at some point and caused you nightmares. We're going to have to be at our best. Of course, without Lemos today, we are missing a rather important piece to the puzzle when it comes to our team, which is going to leave me a little on edge. Anyway, Liverpool on the attack here. They are playing a 4-4-2. You expect both wing-backs for them to get forward. And while speaking of the wing-backs, Angel bringing it forward. Ball hits the crossbar. Keeper just doesn't respond. Sweeney hacks it off the line. It's not what I want to see inside the first 10 minutes. Okay, Archer with the throw-in. Going to give it to Monteiro, who's going to skip past his man. Can he get it into the middle? Monteiro. He can't at the first time of asking, and in fact, he has lost the ball in a slightly sub-optimal area there, but we are gifted back possession. It's Archer bringing it forward. He almost got a couple of goals against Roma. He did get one goal in that game. He very nearly had another one there. Liverpool with a throw-in on this near side. A lot of their play appears to be coming down the right-hand side so far in this game. That is something we should perhaps keep an eye on. Maybe they're looking to abuse the fact that we are without Jamfi for this game. As for ourselves, though, we're looking good going forward. And when we win the ball in areas like this, we're going to have a lot of men forward to the attack, including Uno Rodrigo Montero. It's 1-0, and I think that was Cadman with the assist as well. Of course, Cadman in at centre attack in mid today, not his natural habitat by any means, holds up the play nicely. Montero making a run from deep, keeper comes out, doesn't win that foot race. And the man who we poached away from Benfica for £60+ million so far this season, he's looking worth it. We take the lead here. Let's not get too carried away because Liverpool have a free kick, and it's going to be hit. Fortunately for us, it's off target. Some of you might have been wondering it. I was wondering it. Was that Harvey Elliott over the free kick? Indeed it was. A 34-year-old Harvey Elliott rocking it out at centre mid for Liverpool. I'll say now, he's very good. Not sure about the media description of elite winger. Maybe in his day he was. Now he's an elite defensive mid. Kind of. 10 minutes left of this half. Not been a whole lot of chances, truth be told. Only 2 shots on target. We've dominated the ball. We've had plenty of chances of our own, but I think the big thing for us is Liverpool yet to have a shot on target. Of course, as I big us up defensively, we might be called into some defensive action here. Elliott playing it forward. Buyak wins a nice little header. Grasser looking to go long to Alanis, who's going to get the second ball there. He lays it intelligently back to Archer, and it's now back with Alanis on the far side, on the byline. The Mexican lays it to Sweeney, now with Coppo. This is nice build-up play. This is sexy football. If we score at the end of this without them touching the ball, it could be a very, very nice goal. Archer on the far side, the right wing-back, whips it in, and I don't know how that's not gone in. I don't know how that's not gone in. It's the last bit of action to end the half. You can see from the big spike on the XG chart. Clearly, it was a good opportunity, but we wasted it. 1-0 up, playing pretty well on the whole, but I am going to just tell the players anyway that I'm not happy. Because if you tell players you're happy, they just don't perform in Football Manager. We all know it as a fact. You can try and convince me it's not a thing. It absolutely is. Set piece here. Elliott over the ball. I will say, we are looking a little lacklustre when it comes to the match ratings from our defenders. I suppose the question is, do you put much weight into those? I feel like match ratings, more and more in Football Manager, aren't really a great way to judge player performances. A player can have a really bad game and then score a goal, and they'll end up with a great rating, or they can have a really solid game without really doing anything that kind of earns them match rating score, but they complete a load of passes, don't really put a foot wrong, and they'll just get a 6.7. I mean, so far in this game, we're on course for a clean sheet. We're on course to grab a second. We have grabbed it. Cadman got the assist for the first. He scored this one, and Alanis turns provider. I mean, based on this game so far, Cadman probably would deserve man of the match, even if he has got a goal and an assist. It's not like he's done that and that's been it. He has been at the heart of everything we've done in this game. That's a really, really good finish as well. Twice now their keepers come off the line and not got there. I think before we scored there, Alanis was on a 6.8. Now he's on a 7.6, and it just looks like he's having a great game. I am going to make some changes here. Chapman's going to come off. We're going to bring in Bignot. Elsewhere in the team, Buyak's not played amazingly at left wing back. We're going to give a start in an episode for Anders Pedersen. I say a start in an episode. It's the start of his career live. He's already played one game for us. I don't know where I was going with this bit of commentary. But yes, Pedersen is going to come in. Elsewhere, Coppo and Rios not playing amazingly, but I'm not going to take them off, because I think if we get to the end of the game at 2-0, they'll end up with just 7.0 ratings for getting a clean sheet. I have just noticed here, they have subbed off Endrick and also Simvaludis, who you might remember was the man who won Tottenham the league last year. He's not played at all for them, but he is now on off the bench for Liverpool. We do have to be wary of him. Certainly looks like Liverpool are trying to change things up in the final third to change their fortunes. They have a set piece here. Sweeney heads it away initially. Still not a million miles away from danger, though. Alvarez to Correa. Burak now with it for them. Plays it to Sanders, who is one of those players they've brought on. Wilford makes a great stop. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but he didn't know that. Pedersen with the ball on the far side. Lovely little through ball to Bignot there. He's going to dink it in. Cadman's there. Heads it against the crossbar. It runs along the crossbar. I think it hits it twice or maybe even 3 times there. Unfortunately, it didn't end up dropping into the back of the net. Liverpool have ridden that storm. They're now going to hold their head up higher. Sanders is on the counter-attack. He hits it. Wilford holds on to it. It's end-to-end stuff here with 10 minutes left. I don't feel like anything's safe. I feel stressed, although we are bringing it forward here. Big Knot, can he keep the ball in play? He can. Tries to pick out grass, and not a great ball there, but Rios steps up to do well. Big Knot in a wide area, comes inside. It really looks like Big Knot's about to dive for a penalty. He doesn't need to dive for a penalty. Pedersen's got the assist. Cadman's scored again. It's Cadman's 17th goal of the season. That is madness. I feel like last year Cadman didn't score all that many. This year, I don't know what it is. Is it the caps he got for England? Has that given him a new lease on life? I'm not entirely sure. The number 11 strokes it in on his left foot. It's 3-0 here. Liverpool were unbeaten going into this. They are not unbeaten anymore. 3 minutes left of added time here. It is all going to trickle away. That last highlight, the goal, all that was left to be seen in this game. Cadman, man of the match performance, mentioned his goal scoring recently, hasn't developed quite as much as I'd like. I think at one point his pace went up to 16 and then like the next day it went back down again immediately. But yeah, he's into double figures for Premier League goals already. He's been absolutely amazing and he picked up man of the match there deservedly. And with that result, we're now 4 points ahead of Liverpool. Things are looking groovy. I say that. We were in a very similar situation last year. So I'm trying really, really hard not to get carried away just yet. Cadman with goals number 12 and 13 for the season in the Premier League. It takes him to the top goal scorer kind of mark. You can see here on 13 goals. Elsewhere, Lemos and Archer, nice and high on the average ratings alongside Cadman, Chapman and Monteiro. That makes me feel good. We are playing well, and the stats show it. Now, of course, we are doing 2 games today. You might have spotted it. Brighton, midweek game. Jack, why are you not doing the Brighton away day? I'll tell you why I'm not doing it. I'm boycotting Brighton. I've not announced this before. I refuse to do a game at the Amex for this year of Park to Prem, because when I went to the Amex to watch Brighton play in the away end a few years ago, I was refused service because I forgot my ID and they wouldn't give me a beer. So I had to get my brother to buy me a beer from the vendors. So for that reason and that reason alone, left a bad taste in my mouth. The beer was watered down. And yeah, not doing the away day as a matter of principle. I hope you can all understand the cause that I'm fighting for and appreciate and stand in solidarity with me. Thank you. With that in mind, the game we're coming back for is this game against Arsenal. Their media prediction was third. They're currently in third. They are still unbeaten. They have got to play Manchester United in a moment, but hopefully they'll still be unbeaten. So when I get to play them in a week's time, I can be the team to remove that record from them. I'll see you guys for that one in a sec. Arsenal had one job against Manchester United. They let me down. They lost. So I can't get rid of their unbeaten run myself. That said, in the week you've not been here, there has been a little bit going on. Of course, that win against Brighton, or the game against Brighton, we won it 4-0. Massive performance. Great team display. We rotated the 11. We went back to the 4 at the back. Worth noting, they did have a sending off after 13 minutes. That did make our job a little bit easier. And with that win, you can see we do sit top. Liverpool have just played a game against Wolves and won 3-0. As for Arsenal, they're currently 8 points behind us, so a win here could put us 11 points clear of them in third. Just a couple of other little bits of news. You can see here the youth facilities have been upgraded. For some reason, I couldn't request it for the whole of last year, but I could request it at the start of this year. I don't know, football manager things. So we've gone from 4 stars to 4.5 stars for youth facilities. You might have caught this as well in the inbox. Alanis, not happy, wanted a new contract. I said, yeah, we'll give you a new contract. Then he asked for £130,000 a week, and I told him to do one. And then he sacked his agent. Right now, he's not happy. He's on a 4-year deal currently that has an optional 3-year extension. And he has the audacity to ask for £130,000 a week. Absolutely not. Diallo's transfer to Wolfsburg has also been confirmed, so he will be leaving us at the start of January for 37 million. And Canino has already left the club. He has left to go to Al Shabab, 26 million pounds. Of course, the Saudi transfer window is just open whenever, so he left us right away to join them. Does leave us with a really healthy sum of money in the bank. 102 million pounds transfer budget for January, 72 million. I don't know what we'll spend it on, but I'll find something, I'm sure. But before we get into the January transfer window, the small matter of dispatching of this Arsenal side. An Arsenal side predicted to finish third, kind of performing to expectations. In terms of our team, which is currently defying all expectations, here is the lineup we're going to go with. Unfortunately for us, Jamfi is still injured, failed a fitness test, so Buyak is going to be the man to start at left wing back in this match. Elsewhere, Lamos is back from suspension, so Cadman and Alanis are going to play up top alongside one another. Feel like they were the two standout forwards in that last game. Ethan Chapman, who's been in some good form, but didn't really show up previously, he's going to be on the bench as a super sub option. Not expecting a simple game here against Arsenal, particularly away from home, but given our recent form, given how well we've been performing with this more defensive system against teams that like to attack, I've got to back us to win this one. Already halfway through this first half, nothing has happened yet. I say that. Monteiro, corner. Rios was under it. It was headed away. Guerrero now maybe looking to launch a counter-attack. All on his lonesome for Arsenal. Plenty of players, though, in support. And now with Pinot on the far side, the winger, bringing it forward. Can we shepherd him out of play? Can we deal with this? The cross is blocked. It comes down. Wilford collects, rolls it out immediately. No messing around, but Buyak not given a lot of time there to deal with the pass given his way. Arsenal with it in a dangerous area, and they've absolutely carved us open there. That was self-inflicted. Buyak was caught in possession. I'm not sure if it was entirely his fault. He was kind of given the ball in a not-so-great area, but from there, we didn't do well. Pinto arrived at the back post, and Arsenal take the lead with the first chance of the game. We waited a long time for a highlight. Immediately, there's another one. It's a kick-off highlight. Can we have an immediate response? Cadman laying it wide to Buyak. If he was at fault for the first goal, he could make amends here. He plays it inside. Cadman played fantastically last game. For a moment, I thought he was going to pick out a moment of magic, maybe a cross into the box, maybe a shot from an impossible angle. Unfortunately, it's deflected into the keeper's hands. And now it's Arsenal looking to go long. Pinto was under it, the goal scorer. We have won the header, though. Archer giving it to his fellow fullback in Buyak, who lays it down the line for Cadman. Plenty of players inside. Cadman goes down in a heap, and, well, the ball is gifted to Archer. I don't know who that pass was to. We're not going to complain. Ball in. Cadman probably should have done better there. I've got shouty. Nothing's really happened. We've been okay in this game so far. 60% of the ball. We're yet to have a shot on target, but yeah, ignore that. Don't let that bother you. We've been fine, but we've not created enough. And when we have created half chances, haven't found the target just yet, but maybe an opportunity to change things here. Sweeney, Monteiro, Sweeney to Coppo. Nice build-up play from the back, looking to go long. Cadman is there. I've just realised our centre-backs are the wrong way around. I need to shuffle them. Remind me after this highlight. Very, very minor thing for a football manager to correctly organise your centre-backs. We've got a chance here. Alanis is played forward. Archer's there. Cadman's in the middle. Archer can't find him with the first cross, but he will get a second chance here. He picks out Cadman. If this goal is going to count, it is a sensational header by Cadman, who is on course to continue his fine run of form. What is VAR checking this for? He must be onside, right? He must be behind the ball. Archer, with one initial cross effort that was blocked, but he ran to the byline and managed to get a second ball in, and it was a second ball of quality. Cadman leaps above everyone, heads it goalwards. It's 1-1. Like I already mentioned, do need to sort out the centre-backs. Rios is meant to be left centre-back. Coppo's meant to play in the middle, and Sweeney's meant to play right centre-back. Rios and Sweeney are the two ball players. Don't know why I had them the wrong way round. Don't ask questions. Half-time in this game, it is 1-1. When you look at the XG story, it looks like Arsenal have dominated the game, but truth be told, their XG has mostly been made up of that one squared ball into the middle, which actually has contributed a lot to their XG. I think 75 or 0.75 of their XG from that one chance. Besides that, it has been a fairly even game. We've had a lot of the ball without doing a lot, but away from home, I don't think 1-1's a bad result at half-time. Set piece for us here. Monteiro over it, going to whip it in. Coppo is under it, and Coppo's header does not go far wide. Davies with a throw-in on the far side for Arsenal here. He's going to lay it to Veloso. He's going to look to get it into the middle. Buyak has been very active in today's game, the makeshift kind of left-back. I say makeshift. He's not a makeshift left-back. He's just the band-aid solution to Jamfi's injury. He's been tested. So far, I feel like he's passed the test, besides the whole thing when they scored because of him. Wasn't his fault. We're on the attack here. Alanis, a little bit isolated, holds it up superbly, gives it to Lemos. Can we discuss that Alanis assist? Can we talk about that? That is absolutely mad. Lemos has finished it, but it's all about the pass. Archer, again involved in the build-up play. Alanis here just looks so isolated. 4 players around him, turns, on his left foot, plays it forward. And Lemos, we've not even talked about the finish yet, smashes it into the top corner. It's 2-1. Set piece for us here. Monteiro is putting a few good balls in. Coppo's had a few headers. He hadn't found the target until that one there. I was getting ready to celebrate 3-1. Let's just pause the celebrations for a second because VAR's a thing. I'm hoping this is going to count. I guess there's a question mark of offside. If there was a question mark, it's no longer there. It's been erased. I've pressed delete on the question mark at the end of the sentence. The goal's going to count. It's a sensational header by Coppo as well. Saka with a set piece for Arsenal. Going to whip it towards the back post and... Eric Timmers has scored there. It's not a ferocious finish. I'm not even sure if this ball hit the back of the net. He's kind of just flubbed it over the line. I don't know how that's gone in. I'm annoyed it's ended up in the back of the net. It's 3-2. Buyank's not having the best of games today, but I've not really got a great left-back option. I suppose we could bring in Pedersen. He did get an assist last game. Elsewhere, Grassa, not having the best of games. I'm going to take him off and bring in McKillop. Defensively, Sweeney's been bad today, so you know what? Tejera, it's your time to shine, mate. I feel like the Tejera fans out there right now are pumping their fists. It's a rare appearance in a live commentary match in the Premier League for their boy. With Ganino no longer at the club, he might find himself on the bench that little bit more, like in a game like this one. And well, he might need to do some defending here, because Arsenal have had an effort there. Keeper's done well to turn it wide. We do still have a corner to deal with. I'd like to think with our 3 defenders that we have on, in Rios, Tejera, Coppo, we can deal with this, because their average jumping reach is like 19 between them. We have the most jumpy centre-backs in the whole of world football. It's not really coming into play at the moment. Wilford's just been called into action again and again and again. We are weathering a storm. Arsenal 1 goal behind. I thought when it went to 3-1, maybe, the breathing room would allow us to really relax. We could chill a little bit. I'm not chilling. I'm not relaxing. I thought Archer had given away a penalty for a second there, but it was a good tackle. 15 minutes left to hold on in this game. We are 3-2 up. We do not deserve to be 3-2 up. Yes, we've had more of the ball. Yes, we've created a fair bit, but I don't know. 3-2 I feel like flatters us a tiny bit. It's been some moments of quality that really have been the difference so far. I've got this sneaking suspicion there might be another goal in this game yet, so it might be us who need to get it. Lemos trying to play through Alanis. Can he get there? Not quite. Sosa, though, not good defending. Ball falls to Monteiro. Scored last game, hit the post there. 5 minutes left in this game. Monteiro over it. Set piece whipped in. Timmers heads it away. The goal scorer of their second gets it away. And Martinelli is now the man bringing it forward, who at this point, alongside Saka, must be getting on a little bit. They must be in their mid to late 30s. I remember looking at Saka last season. The fact that Martinelli is still at Arsenal as well. I don't know if that's cool or terrifying. Either way, they're not going to be quick on the ball, and we are quick on the ball here. Lemos, he already has one difficult angle. Holds it up. Sorry, I have to rewind. Did you see the pass that Lemos just did? I know it's not resulted in a goal. Can we discuss this pass? Watch it. He's just done like a back heel cross. That was mental. 2 minutes left in this game. We're still 3-2 up. 4 minutes of added time. Can we see it out? Can the 3 at the back system grind us another massive, massive win? It absolutely can. It's 3-2. I feel like we've got lucky, but a win is a win. With that result there, we stay top of the Premier League, and with 2 massive results in the bag, suddenly, much like last year, we look like we should be in the title fight to the end of the season. That said, it's not even the halfway point in the season yet. I'm not getting carried away just yet. That result there, though, is an absolutely massive one. And knowing that our next couple of games are at home against the likes of Sunderland and Sheffield United, who are in the relegation zone, means I'm going to feel a little more relaxed heading into the month of January. That said, speaking of the month of January, thumbs up for this, Liverpool in the FA Cup, 3rd round. Not exactly looking forward to that. In terms of when we're going to be back next time, I think we're going to come back for the Leipzig game, Leipzig, I have no idea what to expect from Leipzig Stadium. It could be pretty crucial as well in our Champions League campaign. I think there's a world in which if we win that match, we guarantee ourselves a top 8 finish, which after wins against Porto and Bayern Munich, would be quite nice to achieve. Wasn't entirely sure what to expect going into today's episode, but we've managed to grind out some massive results that we just weren't able to get last year. Maybe the year's the year. I'm starting to believe we could win the title. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please do drop a like on the video as always. We will be back tomorrow with more Park to Prem action, and until then, take it easy. Let me know what you think of the team at the moment. Should the title be the aim? Are we going to bottle it? Answers on a postcard. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you tomorrow for more. I'm out.